Good morning, students. So, in the last two lectures, we have studied the two theorems, parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem, to find out moment of inertia of the body of different shape. So, today let us will solve two problems from the textbook, from exercise. So it's problem number 19. See, what is the problem? A metallic ring of mass 1 kg has moment of inertia 1 kg meter square when rotating about one of its diameter. Means the ring is rotating about one of its diameter along x, y or y axis and z axis. Okay. So here that moment of inertia about the diameter id, it is given to you how much it is equal to 1 kg meter square. So you will write here moment of inertia of a ring about a diameter. It is given id is equal to 1 kg meter square. Now the next, what is given? See, it is molten and remodeled into a thin uniform disc. Okay? The ring is molten and then remolded into a thin uniform disc of the same radius. So the radius of a ring and radius of a disc are same. How much will its moment of inertia be when rotated about its own axis? So here you have to find the moment of inertia of a disc when the disc is rotated about its own axis. Means the axis passing through its center, okay, and perpendicular to the plane. So let us find out the moment of inertia of this disc. So all of you know that the moment of inertia of a disc is equal to about its axis of symmetry passing through its center and perpendicular to the plane. It is equal to 1 by 2 mr square. Now mass is going to remain the same because from the ring it is remodulated. Now what about this r? R of the ring and r of the disc is same. So first we should find out the radius of the ring and then we can substitute the value of ring here. So let us first find out the radius of the ring. So to find out the radius of the ring, we'll apply here the law of or the theorem of perpendicular axis. So according to perpendicular axis theorem, Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. Now Ix and Iy are the axis along the diameter. Therefore, we can write here Id plus Id and both are having the same moment of inertia. So you can write here 2Id. Now you know that for the ring, the moment of inertia about the axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the plane Iz, it comes equal to mr square. Let us substitute this value and it comes equal to 2Id. Let us rearrange it. So we'll get r square is equal to 2Id upon m. Now we have already the information that Id is equal to 1 kg meter square and mass of the ring is 1 kg. So when we will substitute the values, we'll get r square is equal to 2. So therefore, we can write here r is equal to under root 2 meter. So here we got the radius of the ring. And the radius of the ring and the disc is same. So now we can substitute this value of radius in case of disc. So moment of inertia of the disc is equal to half mr square. Mass is the same, 1 into r square is 2. So after solving this, we'll get again the moment of inertia of the disc is equal to 1 kg meter square. Okay, this is the value of the answer of the moment of inertia of a disc, 1 kg meter square. Okay, so let us now solve the next sum, that is problem number 20, okay, from your textbook. That is, see, a big dumbbell is prepared by using a uniform rod of mass 60 gram. So all of you know the shape of the dumbbell. So dumbbell is having a rod in the middle and on the two sides two spears, right? So the mass of this rod is 60 gram and the length of this rod is 20 centimeter, and two identical spears of mass 50 gram. So mass of this spear, these spears are 50 gram and the radius 10 centimeter. Radius of the spear is 10 centimeter. Okay? Each are at the two ends of the rod. So calculate, what we have to calculate? See, calculate moment of inertia of the dumbbell. Moment of inertia of the dumbbell when rotated about an axis passing through its center. This, when you will consider the whole dumbbell passing through its center, the axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the length. This is the length of the dumbbell and this axis is perpendicular to the dumbbell and it passes through the center of the dumbbell. Okay, so we have to find out the moment of inertia of a dumbbell about this axis. Okay, so when we are considering the dumbbell, then here we have to consider the three parts. First one, moment of inertia of the spears, this spear and this spear. Okay, so the moment of inertia of both these spears about this axis, center axis, and also the moment of inertia of this rod. Rod is also having some mass and rotating along with the spear. So moment of inertia of this rod also with this about this axis, the same axis. So we are going to find out the moment of inertia of spear number 1, moment of inertia of spear number 2 and moment of inertia of the rod. Okay? So how to find out? By using our theorems. So here it is given. First let us find out the moment of inertia of one spear. Both the spears are identical. So if you will get this one spear, then you will get both by multiplying it by 2. Make it twice. So let us first find out the moment of inertia of this spear. So the moment of inertia of this spear about this axis passing through the center of the dumbbell. Okay. So for that, we are going to apply the law of parallel axis theorem. So according to law of parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia of a spear about this parallel axis I0. It is equal to IC plus MH square. Where what is IC? IC is the moment of inertia passing through its center of mass, and M is the mass of the sphere, and H is the perpendicular distance between the two parallel axes. So here the moment of inertia of a sphere passing through its center of the mass, it is equal to 2 by 5 mr square. Okay, so it is already given in the textbook of a different shapes, the moment of inertia about the different axes. It is given in a tabular form. So directly from that you can take that the moment of inertia of a sphere about its center of mass, it comes equal to 2 by 5 mr square plus m mass, and this h, let's consider the value of this h, perpendicular distance between these two parallel axes. So this total length, suppose this total length is L of this rod, then half of this length, it is equal to h, because this axis is passing through the center. So it will become exactly half. So h is equal to L by 2. So here you can substitute h is equal to L by 2 and its square. So what we'll get finally? It will be equal to 2 by 5 mr square plus ml square by 4. Okay? It is equal to the moment of inertia of one of the sphere. So let us substitute the values of mass here. So we'll get here I0 is equal to 2 by 5. Mass of the sphere is 50 into the radius of the sphere given 10 centimeter. So it is equal to 10 square plus mass of the sphere is 50 into the length is given 20 centimeter. So 20 square upon 4. If we will solve this, we'll get 5 ones are 5, 10s are 50, 10 square is 100, 100 into this, 2 into 10, 20, it comes equal to 2000. Plus, if you will solve this, you will get the answer 5000. So, 2000 plus 5000 comes equal to 7000 gram centimeter square. So, this is equal to I0. I0 means the moment of inertia of a sphere. See, we'll get the moment of inertia of this sphere about the axis I0, which is passing through the center and perpendicular to the length of the dumbbell. Okay. Now, as we got the moment of inertia of one sphere, both the spheres are identical. So, total if we will together we'll call the moment of inertia of sphere. Okay, so it will be equal to 2 into I0, twice the one sphere. So it is equal to, it comes equal to 14,000 gram centimeter square. Now let us consider about the moment of inertia due to rod. So this also you will get in a tabular form directly in the textbook. That is the moment of inertia of a rod passing through its center and perpendicular to the length, it comes equal to ml square upon 12. So you can directly use this formula, that is ml square by 12. So mass of the rod is given to you 60 into L square, that is 20, square length, total length is 20. So 20 square by 12. If we will solve this, we will get the answer 2000 gram centimeter. Okay. So here we got the moment of inertia of both the spheres and moment of inertia of rod. So let us add both. So we will get the moment of inertia of dumbbell. So moment of inertia of a dumbbell, it is equal to moment of inertia of sphere plus rod. So 14,000 plus 2,000. So it comes equal to 16,000 gram centimeter square. So this is the moment of inertia of a dumbbell about the axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the length. So it comes, the final answer comes equal to 16,000 gram centimeter square. So in the textbook it is given 24,000, which is a wrong answer. So take a note, this is the right answer. Okay. So I hope you have understood how to use the parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem to solve the problems. So in textbook, one solved problem of flywheel is given to you. You can try this at home. Okay. So it is given already in the textbook. And even though if you have any doubt to understand that problem, let me know. We'll discuss then. If you have problem, then only we are going to discuss. So please tell me if you have any doubt of that problem. Okay. So should we proceed for the next point? So today's the next point of the lesson is angular momentum. Okay. So linear momentum, you know, the last year we have studied the linear momentum. So what is linear momentum? P is equal to m into v, mass into velocity. This is known as linear momentum. So what is angular momentum? This angular word only tells you this is the momentum related to the rotational motion. Okay. When any object is rotating, it has angular momentum. And the relation between angular momentum and linear momentum, it is L. Angular momentum is denoted by capital L. L bar is equal to R bar cross P bar. Okay. So this R bar is the radius vector, means it's the distance from the axis of rotation, and P is your linear momentum. So let us find out the mathematical expression in terms of moment of inertia for the angular momentum. So this angular momentum we can express in terms of moment of inertia also. So how we'll get that? See, we'll consider one body as it is rotating about this axis. When this body is rotating, obviously every point of the body is performing circular motion about the same axis. Let the rotation is a uniform. Everyone is performing uniform circular motion, all the particles. Let M1, M2, M3 and be the masses of the particles. R1, R2, R3 are the distance from the axis of rotation. Then at that time, the linear velocity of the particle is tangential everywhere. It is tangential. It is different for every particle. Even angular velocity is constant as it is tangential. Its direction changes. Okay. So let this linear velocity v1, v2, v3. So according to the relations which we have studied already, v is equal to r omega. We can write here v1 is equal to r1 omega. v2 is equal to r2 omega. In this way, vn is equal to rn omega. So as it possesses the velocity, it has some linear momentum. So linear momentum of the first particle P1, it comes equal to m into v, linear momentum. So it is equal to m1 v1, which is equal to m1 v1 means r1 omega. Similarly, V2 is equal to M2 V2. Substitute the value of V2. You will get M2 R2 omega. So in this way, the linear momentum of all the particles will get. And what will be their angular momentum then? The relation between linear momentum and angular momentum, L is equal to P into R. So here you can take the angular momentum of the first particle will be L1. It is equal to P1 R1, which is equal to P1 means M1 R1 omega. Let us substitute here M1 R1 omega into this R1. So this R1 into R1 will become R1 square, and you will get here it is equal to M1 R1 square omega. So similarly you can write L2 is equal to M2 R2 square omega. Omega is constant. L3 is equal to M3 R3 square omega. So in this way, these are the linear momentum of each particle. If you want to calculate the angular momentum of the whole total body, then what we'll do? We'll add them. So the angular momentum of the whole body, it is equal to L1 L2 plus dot dot. So let us substitute here the values. M1 R1 square omega plus M2 R2 square omega plus Mn Rn square omega, which is equal to, let us take omega common from all. So in the bracket what will remain? M1 R1 square plus M2 R2 square dot 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 into constant omega. So this is nothing but the summation Mi Ri square, and summation Mi Ri square is moment of inertia I. So L is equal to I omega. Okay, so angular momentum in terms of moment of inertia, it is L is equal to I omega. So let us compare this angular momentum with the linear momentum. Okay, so in case of C, this is linear momentum is P and angular momentum is L. Then linear velocity is V and omega is angular velocity. It is also the analogous, and the mass in linear is analogous to the moment of inertia in angular or rotational. Okay, so in this way both are analogous quantity. In one is in linear motion and one is in rotational motion. So angular momentum is the momentum of the body in rotational motion. Okay, so today we'll stop here, and in the next lecture we'll study about the angular momentum in detail. Okay, bye.